right, we're going to continue with our media availabilities for our Daytona 500 championship team. We're now joined by the crew chief of the number 2 Discount Tire Ford, Jeremy Bullins. Jeremy, why don't you just talk us through what it felt to be up on that pit box there that last lap or two?
Well, I'll try to talk about it. I was screaming for the last half a lap, I think. So, long time coming for me personally. Obviously, awesome day for Austin and Team Penske, but I feel like I've been coming here forever trying to win this race and finish second 2 or 3 times and been on the front row of a restart at the end and put it on casters or something. So this is awesome. That's about the only way I can describe it.
Great. Well, we'll open it up to questions for Jeremy. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start right here and then we'll go up to the press box after that.
Luis Torres, the podium finish. Just describe how incredible Cindric has been so far with the team, especially like a year ago. He had a great run to now come back a year later working with you to get the 500, especially for that 2 car to finally win it. Yeah,
I mean, Austin has shown the last couple of years in the Xfinity Series the amount of talent that he has, and the thing that's probably surprised me the most since we knew all this was going on is how hard he works at it. The time he spends away from the track, the questions he asks, just the effort and the studying that he puts into it to be good at it. And, to his credit, he's done everything that we've asked him to do as a team to try to learn and get better. And obviously did a tremendous job today of staying out of trouble, making moves at the right time, putting himself in position. And I don't think you can express how hard it is to play defense at one of these races when you're leading. To be able to finish that off. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Ryan. That's a hell of a teammate. I've been here with him and almost felt like we were going to win with him, and I can't thank him enough for being that good of a teammate because we probably don't win that race without him.
I'm going to check in upstairs at the press box.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. 2 questions, Jeremy. First, the incident at the start of the race, I think it was lap 41, with you guys and Chase Briscoe and the Kaz Gralla losing the wheel. How close did that come to ruining your race, or did it have much of an effect at all?
We were very fortunate that we didn't get any damage. I know Austin feels bad about turning the 14 around there. I think the position he was in, he couldn't see the tire getting away, and I think those guys in front of him did and started checking up for it. And, Austin just had too much momentum right there. So I'm really glad that it didn't ruin the 14's day. It was just one of those things where it's so hard to see past the guy in front of you that those guys were able to see something he wasn't. But we were very, very fortunate not to get any damage and not affect our day, really.
And also, Austin doesn't have like the typical background of a lot of NASCAR drivers, having spent a lot of time in sports cars, but he's won in everything that he's done in NASCAR so far. How would you assess him as a NASCAR driver so far?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many Xfinity races he's won over the last 2 years, but to win a championship and be 50 feet from winning 2 in a row, I'd say he's done okay. So, it was a matter of time before he got this opportunity, and he's done a really good job and taken advantage of all the. He's had a lot of opportunities, but he's taken advantage of all of them, and I think that's the main thing is when he's gotten these opportunities, he's put the effort in to take advantage of it.
We're going to go up front here to Alan.
You talked about Ryan, that final restart. Was it being in front of Ryan that was advantageous, or was it the inside line, both, or what goes through your decision?
It's the whole thing. I'll be honest with you. Like you see it at the speedways. We saw the Gibbs guys do it a lot today, where teammates are on the front row and the inside guy lets the outside guy in, and that's just part of this kind of racing. It's part of how it plays out. And to be honest, I never even considered asking for that when we were the leader. I thought, green, white checker, we're just going to race for it and see what happens here. And it was Ryan's idea. And I mean, like I said, hell of a teammate. I mean, that guy's awesome. So, and then to know you got somebody back there that you can trust pushing you, he kept us out front, no doubt.
I'm going to check in back upstairs in the press box.
Congratulations, Jeremy. It's Lee Spencer. It's just kind of curious, what are your expectations now? I mean, when you have a guy, he goes out and he wins, you know, right out of the box. I mean, I guess we kind of thought maybe it might happen on a road course for him, but, you know, to kind of just establish himself as a player this early on, you know, how do you kind of keep things grounded and just, you know, focused on November?
Well, I think we're both very realistic people. I know that we both know that these speedway races are very unpredictable. Definitely, we feel like the road courses are a great opportunity for him to showcase his strengths. But I think if you look at the last couple of years, he's gotten really good at the mile and a half. He runs well at Phoenix. He runs well at so many places. You know, I do think the sky's the limit for him if he continues to work like he has, and I have no reason to think he won't. So, but we're realistic, and we know we got a lot of work in front of us with this car and a lot to learn. And you know, we still know that what the level of competition is, you know, on this side of the garage, and he knows that. So, you know, this is great. It's awesome to be locked into the playoffs. I've never done it this early in the year, so I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, you know we got a lot of work to do, and that just means there's more playoff points available between now and then. So we'll just keep working like we always do.
I'm going to go to Daniel, Aaron, and then we'll go back up to the press box.
Daniel McFadden, FrenchFish.com. Going back, you've had a lot of near misses here, like you said. What did you take from the last 6 years of working with Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski on super speedway racing specifically that you were able to apply to this race to make this win possible?
Well, I would say it's not just me; it's my whole team. We've been fortunate enough to work with great guys like Ryan and Brad. That we learned a lot about drafting and the things that you have to do to be successful, and how to pit the races, how to keep track position at the right time, and do all the things that we were able to do today. And you gotta survive the day and be there at the end, and we've done that a lot. So the odds had to be in our favor at some point. So Daytona chose us today, I guess.
Go to Aaron and then the press box.
Aaron Bearden, Motorsports Beat. Jeremy, coming down the backstretch on the last lap of the Daytona 500, you had Austin Cindric leading, Ryan Blaney second, Brad Keselowski third. Literally all three guys you've worked with in the Cup Series to this point. What was that like for you watching them all, and what does it mean to you to have played a part in all three of their careers to get them to this point?
I think it's probably, I look at it the other way. I think it's probably more the role that those two played in my career to get me to this point, not necessarily what I've done for them, but just the experience of working with them. Ryan from a rookie in the Cup Series to having some experience to an experienced veteran like Brad. I would say I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned through all that to be able to try to help somebody like Austin, on this journey of moving to the Cup level. So I'm grateful for everything I've experienced to be able to try to pass that along. I'm getting old. I got to teach somebody how to do something.
Going to go back upstairs to the press box.
No more questions from the press box.
Thank you. We'll go to Steve.
Steve Schweitzer, the Lasco Press. Jeremy, can you provide a layman's explanation of what was going on with the wheels and what happens if you don't get those wheels seated in that slot? Is that what contributed to the two-wheel issues we saw today?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about wheels this week, so I'll tread carefully. We have had some instances where there's a lot of like a lot of really tight tolerances on a lot of the parts on this new car, and when if you look at the back of the wheel, there's a lot of lug holes there that line up on the drive pins on the hubs, and a lot of times when you have that many holes and that many lugs and all the very close tolerances on all that, we've had a couple. We took a set of wheels out of the rotation today because we made some tools to check them to make sure they were what they were supposed to be, and we pulled a set of wheels out and didn't use them today because we were afraid they might not go on. It's just that it's all new stuff, and it's all very nice machine stuff, but when you stack up those kind of tolerances, we have seen some interference issues, and that's what we've all been hedging against, if you will, through some of the things that we've done. So I think it's one of those things that is something you deal with when you have a new car and new parts, and it's not the first thing that we've found interference, things like that, when you have a car with this many things different, and it's just one of those things that we'll work through over time. I don't want to be a politician, but I'm not 100% sure what everybody else's wheel problems were, so I don't really want to speak on it.
Do we have any final questions for Jeremy? I'll go up here to Bob. Looks like you're going to get 2 microphones, Bob.
If this has been asked and answered, just tell me and don't worry about it. But Austin Cindric, when he first started at Penske, that first Xfinity year, I want to say he averaged like a 17th place finish. I assume you still paid attention to what he was doing at the, I mean, was there any thoughts, when he was coming up that, man, he just, didn't have it?
Well, I think whatever opinion anybody had of him, had to have changed over the years, with the experience that he gained. I think, Jeff Gordon tore up a lot of race cars too at one point, and he turned out to be pretty awesome. So, I think these guys just, there's so many guys, and I felt like this with Ryan. He had so much talent and just needed the experience. And I think it's the same thing with Austin. I think the years he spent in the Xfinity car and the experience he gained there just made him better to get to the point where, I hope this gives him a sense of belonging over here, and I can do this and I do fit in and all those things, because that confidence is very inspiring and leads you to do great things. So, did it start off great? Maybe not, but he learned. I'm telling you, the kid studies and he works hard and he puts a lot of effort into it. So, if he's not doing well, he will figure it out for sure.
We're going to go back up to the press box. Sounds like there's another question up there.
Yes. Congratulations, sir. I want to press a little bit on this tire thing, but not making it too rough for you. But how confident are you in this kind of new era, so to speak, of NASCAR and the development of this car and their willingness and openness to talk? Do you feel as though you'll be able to come to a good resolution? In other words, they'll ask the questions and you can explain your side of it, and maybe there will be some changes? Do you feel confident about that?
I feel confident that NASCAR will work with the teams to find a solution when we run across problems. Absolutely, I do. I think if you look at where the next-gen car was in testing during the year at points last year, we had a lot of work in front of us. And I think if you look at some of those tests towards the end of the year, there was a lot of effort and collaboration between NASCAR and the teams to find the best solution to try to produce the best racing we can, because that's what's important for the sport. And I think when we put the sport first, we're able to work together and find good solutions. And I think we will do that.
Is there anything else up in the press box?
No more questions.
Any final questions down here in the media center? Go back to Bob to wrap up.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Did you get any feeling from just your guys of any sort of, I don't want to say different attitude, but any sort of different aura having a rookie compared to a guy who last year, is a 10-year veteran and a former champion?
Well, I think, how do I say this? I think our guys were up for the challenge. I think you look back at the last few years, we ran, it's a lot of the core group that we've had for years. Excuse me. I told you the voice is about gone. Grant, my engineer, like Kirk, my car chief, like Darren, my engine tuner, like a lot of these guys, we've been together for so long that we felt like, if we stuck together and did what we always do, we could give him the tools that he needs to learn and be successful. And I think that continuity is a very powerful thing in the sport, and I'm really glad that we've been able to keep those guys together, and they do a really good job.
Jeremy, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.